States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Additions or corrections to the agenda. Joe Cohen asked to be put on the agenda. Are there any other additions or corrections? Some of the public. Okay.
Ron?
I have two quick questions for the agenda.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, previous minutes. February 14th, 2013, regular town board meeting. Present Ronald Bono, Gregory Reuter, Teresa Kowski, James Lundigan, Bradley Dixon, Roy Curley, Roger Williams, John Mancino, Tracy McLean, and approximately 25 guests. Supervisor Bono opened the meeting at 7:30 p.m. with Pledge of Allegiance. Brad Dixon made the motion, the agenda accepted. Bradley Kowski seconded. All in favor, so moved. Minutes from January 10th regular meeting were read by Supervisor Bono. Minutes were accepted as read with a motion made by Greg Reuter, seconded by Jim Lundigan. Supervisor's report, Highway Superintendent's report, Town Clerk report, Justice reports, Dog Patrol Officer report, Code Enforcement Officer report were presented and reviewed by the board. Bills in the general account in the amount of $16,835.82. Bills in the highway account of $53,007.28 for a total of $69,842.10 were audited and approved for payment with a motion made by Patty Bukowski, seconded by Brad Dixon. All in favor, so moved. Supervisor Bono will set up interviews with the 7 applicants for the planning board position on Thursday, February 21st, 2013 at 6 p.m. Public hearing on the proposed land use regulation law was opened with a motion by Jim Lundigan, seconded by Brad Dixon. All in favor, so moved. Greg Wilson from the town of Hamilton was the first to speak. He feels the law is not complete. The state said it distracts boundaries, that districts' boundaries for non-conforming use are not defined in the law as written. Barbara Hipsey of Madison again states districts and boundaries are not defined and the law is too vague. Catherine and Jerry Gall state the draft is incomplete and does not include enough specifics. Barbara Holmes questions if this law was intended to cover windmill towers and would like further description of buildings and structures. David Holmes states the proposed land use law will need to have another public hearing after revisions and it has gone to the county planning board. Warner Wilson again states the lack of definitions or regulations of buildings and lots. Now, Melanie von Gardner feels there are not enough guidelines for land use districts. Arthur Osborne would like more regulations on dumps and junkyards and district areas. Eric Gordon comments on typographical errors and again states the lack of definitions. Joe Cohen states this law does not have any meat in its bones and it needs to be redone before presenting again. Jane Welch wants zoning in the zoning commission form and then informs the board of the proper procedure to adopt zoning laws. John and Mary Lapata comment on Board of Appeals variances. They also question if this law would supersede the proposed wind power law. David Jordan states this law does not prohibit how land may be used and needs to have set districts. Charlene Jordan wants the law to characterize the use of land and what can or cannot be permitted. Bob Albrecht states the law needs to have more work done on it. Charlie Backus would like to see a town plan or consulting use set up, use areas except for wildlife, forestry, and agriculture. He also commented he would like to see surface-based renewable energy versus fracking. Marjorie Curry feels the draft is not worthy of consideration, fix it and try again. Nancy Reed states there are many issues with the draft and needs more work. Jerry and Judy Brown both state the language of creating districts and regulations are lacking in the draft and needs work. Earl Coleman suggests the town board appoint a committee or use the Wind Advisory Committee to write a new law for land use and create districts if this does not deserve serious consideration as written. Sam Fuller comments on the process how the draft law was written and would like to volunteer to help with writing zoning regulations for the town. Supervisor Bono states that Advanced Auto at Madison Marketplace will hold its ribbon cutting on February 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Diane Van Slyke submitted her yearly historian report. Greg Ruder made the motion to pay $110 for Diane to attend the conference in April. Jim Lundgren seconded. All in favor, so moved. Supervisor Bono presented the following resolutions to the board for their consideration. 1308, to adopt a new fee schedule for building permits for 2013. Eddie Pikowski made a motion to adopt the resolution. Greg Ruder seconded. Roll call by vote yes. 1309, to allow Supervisor Bono to move monies in the amount of $259.68 from the Aquatic Growth Money Market into the general fund account to cover February bills. Jim Lundgren made the motion to adopt the resolution. Brad Dixon seconded. Roll call vote, 5 votes yes. 1310, to allow Supervisor Bono to move monies in the amount of $69,800 from Berkshire Money Market into the appropriate accounts to cover February bills. Eddie Pikowski made the motion to adopt the resolution. Jim Lundgren seconded. Roll call vote, 5 votes yes. At 9:26, Greg Ruder made the motion to enter executive session to discuss personnel. Jim Lundgren seconded. At 9:45, Eddie Pikowski made the motion to end executive session. Greg Dixon seconded. All in favor, so moved. At 9:45, Eddie Pikowski made the motion to adjourn. Brad Dixon seconded. Respectfully submitted, Tracy McLean, Town Clerk. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as read?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Correspondence, we've had some, Roger's had quite a few letters and emails. I've had a few on the land use regulations and wind laws and that type of thing. With that, we'll go right on to reports. Roy. How's things going with the highway, Roy?
Good, just a long winter now. Stuff's starting to break, wore out.
How many times have you been out?
About 100.
Wow.
I think it was like 98 at the beginning of the week.
The sand pile's going down too, isn't it?
Yep. We've used about 5,000 tons so far this year.
But
Looked like that building was kind of shrinking.
you've got plenty of, right?
Yeah.
Kind of nice, but, you know, I see other townships hauling sand now.
No, there's enough there.
Your pickup's working good?
Yep. Yep.
Make it to May, right?
Huh?
You're gonna make it to May, right?
Yeah. I hope it ain't.
You have got out and done some culvert work too, huh?
Yep. Had to clean some. Starting to patch potholes. Been out a couple days on that.
And you had to switch the radios because of the new.
Yep. They can narrow band the radios. Actually, it's one of the older trucks taking an injector out of it, and we were out without that for about a week. So we had to do more plowing with a small truck and the pickup.
Nah.
Well, we got it back and everything was good on it.
Well, that's good. You fix that in-house?
No, not the injector. Took it to Utica.
Mm-hmm. But the truck stayed here?
No,
No?
no, we took the,
Put the whole unit, okay.
yeah, took the hitch off the front so we could get the hood open.
Mm-hmm.
we wanna try to do it ourselves because we were going out plowing every day. And so there's been a big time issue.
Yeah. But the judge has been busy.
Been a long way there, come down.
Yeah.
Can we request that the drought control officer report be typed in?
Yeah.
$4,000 and the judges.
Yeah. You wouldn't think it would just keep happening every month, but it does. It's been controlling heavy by the schools and everything. Okay, if we're all right with the reports, we'll move on. Under unfinished business, planning board member, we advertised for planning board member and received 7 applications. I contacted one applicant by email, the rest with phone with date, time, and place of interview. Town board and planning board members conducted interviews with members asking each questions. Dr. Waterman was selected and Mr. Early is an alternate. In the event that we do not have all of our regular members present, an alternate would have voting privileges. Then the other thing under old business, Delta, several townships.
May I interject a question, sorry, about that piece of business that you just discussed? Would it be appropriate to do so?
Sure.
In the January minutes, it states that you voted by a roll call, 5 votes to reappoint John Mancino for another 6-year planning board term. That was conducted during the town meeting in January. I do not understand, A, why the seven applicants' dossiers for the planning board were not disclosed to the public. As far as I know, that is not executive privilege under open meetings law. And I would then also like to know why the new members for the planning board are not being voted on tonight in an open public meeting so that the public can actually witness your discussion and vote.
They will be a resolution tonight that we will be voting. They're not appointed yet.
You just said, excuse me, Supervisor Bono, you did just say that they were appointed. I may have misheard you, but.
They are not appointed until the resolution is done.
Okay,
It's a
so
resolution
what
process.
about going back a step and allowing the public to know who the 7 applicants were? Having their dossiers available to the public so we know who was actually considered and what the criteria for choosing new members of the planning board would be in this town. As far as my reading, and I'm not a lawyer, but as far as my reading of the open minutes law and the general municipal law, those should be topics that are open to the public. And furthermore, the dossiers or the application letters, basically, of the applicants for the planning board positions should be made known to the public and disclosed in advance of this of the meeting tonight in which you're going to vote. I'm particularly concerned because I see that a planning board body in 2013 has no female membership. I don't understand the lack of gender balance on the planning board. It's one thing, excuse me, there are lots of women in attendance in this town at all of the meetings. And it seems that having under many laws of this land, having gender balance in appointed positions, government positions, is considered to be critical. There have been many laws and lawsuits brought to bear on government officials and employees of the state for not honoring and obeying the affirmative action and other gender balance principles of our law.
We are not going to give out people's personal information. On their application, it tells personal information, and we're not giving that out to the public.
Excuse me, but under executive communications, that, it's a very fine line, but as far as my reading of various precedents and the law itself is concerned, it does not appear that applications, letters of application for the planning board would be held private under executive privilege. And I will take this to the county and to other persons for adjudication if necessary. I don't think that that's something that is
And
appropriately
as far
handled
as who
in
the
private.
applicants were, we announced that last month. That was no big deal, they were all announced, but we're not going to give out their personal information.
Supervisor Boyle, can I also ask a question, please?
Sure.
Because the way you have this structured, you're gonna make the resolution before people could even ask certain questions about what you decided to do. You didn't advertise for an alternate, and I'm curious as to how this is going to work. I mean, you have quite a number, honestly, of the planning board members who just usually don't show up to meetings. And is your alternate going to be required to show up to every meeting? And if not, then how will that person be competent to vote when he is asked to vote? Have you given any thought to the whole process by which this alternate thing will work? Because in fact, I don't see anything in the law that would provide for that. The law says 5 members or 7 members, period, end of discussion.
Right, the
And
law
also-
doesn't say that the 5 or 7 members have to be present either to be current with
You
things.
have to have a quorum,
Right,
but,
but
you
here,
know,
we'll-
you gonna pay the alternate, or how does that work?
the alternate would get a stipend of $25.
Mhm. And in the process of all the interviews that you did people disclose potential conflicts of interest, or did you ask about potential conflicts of interest?
No.
I think that that might be a question that needs to be raised here tonight, but I'll defer.
Bono, may I ask, would the same questions be phrased in terms of the formulation of the original wind subcommittee?
Yes.
All right, let's go on with our meeting. Let's go on. I had more contact with Delta on that road use agreement, and they would very much, since we've got 4 or 5 neighboring towns that are using their services, they'd very much like to come do a presentation to us. And with the board's permission, we could have them come next month to see what they could offer to help us protect our roads. The board interested in that? All right, we'll schedule that for next time. I think it's probably best just to have them come to the regular town board meeting rather than, you know, I've seen their presentation, it's probably a 20-minute deal, so it isn't like it would be, you know, all night. Okay. Under new business, we are going to do a survey of the town residents to see what people's thoughts are on land use regulations and on windmill development. Last month we saw that, we're trying to do some land use regulations for some setbacks and so forth, and, we could see that people were interested in maybe a little more, maybe zoning or whatever, so we're putting together a survey. It's going to be mailed out for people to mail back, and we can gather their thoughts. We can, do what people want us to do.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes.
You said about the wind law?
Yes.
I can understand how you might be wanting to do a survey about what the public thinks about